Hi, hello, welcome if you're new here or welcome back. Either way, hi. So here's the 1K special, and thank you so much for 1K subscribers. I really appreciate it. So hopefully you enjoy it. I do not own this fanfiction, nor do I own the beautiful fan art used in this video. With that being said, hopefully you enjoy it. Karasuno, Hinata. Hinata would be a little clumsy at first, so he would be so focused on perfecting his form, except needing to be slow and steady for him. He's going to take his time and then ask you for advice. In comparison to most dates, this may be one of his favorites personally, even though he fell on his ass more than once. He really had a fun time. Kageyama, another one who would probably be taking this too seriously. You would swoop on by, linking your arm through his, and he would not show any addiction on his aware of presence. His eyes are wide and completely focused on perfecting his form. Kageyama has a nature need to be the best in anything he tries out. And while he is not a natural at roller skating like he is for volleyball, he does pretty well. He knows how to maintain good balance. Eventually, he'll lose up slightly, but Kageyama is always on edge. Daichi would be more of a risk taker. He thinks it's fun to try out new things, and he's naturally a very grounded person. He'd be able to adapt to roller skating fairly quickly. He would be the type to lift you up and spin you around. The first time he does it, he's a bit shaky, but give him a few tries to adjust. He'll have it down perfectly. Sugawara has been begging to go on a roller skating date for months, but you two have a very different schedule, so that's why. The day you two do, he's so excited. He's like a little child. You won't be able to keep up with him. He's zooming all over the place. There are times where you think he's going to die, but Suga knows what he's doing. He's just testing you. Asahi would be very stabilized, but it doesn't come to a shock to either of you. He has his independent vibe to him, mostly because he's having a lot of fun. May accidentally leave you behind to continue to skate on, but you're going to try and assert your dominance by racing him. He doesn't even realize it because he's on his own element until you slip up and fall. Asahi would immediately drop everything to check on you. Nishinoya is fucking all over the place. He would be so overly confident, but he's so athletic, gifted, that his reckless behavior somehow doesn't bother him. You would probably be trying to get him to settle down, and he would at times because he doesn't want to annoy you, but Noya would forget and see something really exciting, and darting out into traffic, it's like you're babysitting him. Tanaka would try to put on a brave face, but constantly be clutching onto you for dear life. Whenever you tease him, he would let go, try to prove you otherwise. But eventually he'll clutch onto you again, screaming loudly each time he takes so many breaks because his skates aren't on properly. You spent 30 minutes one time while he's adjusting his skates. Such a liar. Inoshita would be pretty balanced. May try to get you to trip. He'll just gliding along, looking around, and then poke you in the ribs. As you try to get revenge, he's already down the street. You didn't expect him to be so damn fast, but he's surprisingly in his element. Don't expect to be able to outdo him. He wants to assert his dominance as a superior skater. Tsukishima would be so annoyed the entire time. I just know this guy doesn't know what he's doing. But he refuses to show any weakness whatsoever. Everyone would think he's a natural, but he's panicking on the inside. You're the only one that catches on to this, and keep making comments. One time you chose a very unstable path, and he just sits in his tracks, staring you down in disbelief. He refuses to play into your game. May just sit down after the first 15 minutes. Yamaguchi is so for it, but he's a little unstable. You two would be clinging onto one another for dear life. But both of you can't stop laughing the entire time. It's so funny that you two are trying to stay on your feet The way you both hold on to one another for dear life only makes you two that much more unbalanced. You fall every few minutes. Yukai. Yukai hates it here. You're more than likely force him to go skating with you. He's the type of guy that would be standing straight and lets gravity do the work. Just wait until you bring him down a slope. He'll start flailing his arms and screaming at the top of his lungs. Also, don't help him. It's a hard lesson, but one he must learn. Kyoko. Kyoko is like a fairy. She's so light on her feet. You can tell she wants to speed and showcase her skills to everyone around her, but she wants to include you as much as possible, so she won't let go of your hand. You two make the most out of the day, speeding past everyone. You probably make at least 3 laps around the entire of the park before deciding to finally take a break. Yachi. Yachi would take her time because she's a bit timid at first. Even when you offer to hold her hand, she insists on doing this herself. May use the railings half the time. You'll have to pry her fingertips off at one point. I promise I won't let you fall, just trust me. You won't end up saying this more than once. Poor thing is horrified. Eventually, she'll try clinging onto you. At least she's trying. Saeko, hopefully I said that correctly. Saeko is so reckless, she's almost died more than once, and you guys have only been skating for 3 minutes at this point. You're not going to be able to catch up with her. She'll end up backtracking because she sees you, hung over, breathing heavily. Her attention span is non-existent, so if she sees something that catches her eye, she'll go after it without regarding any of her surroundings. It's the most stressful time of your life. Michimiya. She did not want to skate. I'm telling you right now, she cannot do it for shit. But you keep holding on to her the entire time. Each time her legs spread out, she squeals and tries to cling onto you, which doesn't help her because then that means she brings you down with her. This happens too many times within the first 10 minutes, so you won't make it very far. Aihara, she's so smooth about it. You would think she's just walking normally, and then when you ask her if she's ever skated before, she'll stare with a plain expression and go, no. But then how is she so skilled? One of the world's many mysteries. On the inside, she is panicking internally that she'll end up slipping up. Yudai. Yudai has this fear that he'll slip and embarrass himself, and for the reason he does everything he can do to perfect his stances. So he's as grounded as possible, which will definitely result in him messing up and flailing like a fish. You have to catch him frequently and he'll hop back up. Not before thanking you, but this is date you two will probably not repeat unless he's that serious about skating. He'll beg you to do it with him at least once a week. Nekoma. Kenma is so relaxed the entire time. He has his hands shoved in his pocket, eyes narrowed, not paying attention to anyone. It's a rather quiet date, and one you two have quiet often. It's the only way you two can do anything active. He doesn't like exerting too much energy, and he refuses to qualify skating as working out. You don't argue with him because you don't want to ruin it. Skating is your go-to date, and maybe a little picnic if the weather is nice. Kuro loves to skate, but he's not very good at it. You're way better than him, yet he's the one that has the most fun. Begs you to hold his hand, but that's a disaster waiting to happen. You may tease him to catch up with you, resulting him in pouting because there's no way he'll catch up. Eventually, you hold his hand and watch as he panics to catch balance. Lev wore his skates for 0.2 seconds and fell flat on his face. Since the ground was unstable, but this guy tripped on air. You laughed for too long, and his instincts, he's done with you at this point, pouts the whole rest of the time, refusing to look your way, but still holds your hand. Yaku's mad that he didn't have time to buy skates, and you gave him some of yours when you were younger. So expect a very over-the-top, bedazzled skates that was in perfect condition because you never wore them. He's not mad about the design at all. He's actually flaunts it as much as he can. He's just mad that people doubt him. Yaku gives a whole dance routine in perfect form. Even does it with his eyes closed. How the fuck? Shibayama. Shibayama would hold your hand the entire time, sometimes letting you go to try and freak you out around the third time. He says he'll stop so you two can enjoy your time. He's somewhat nervous because he hates skating, but he wants to have a good time with you. Expect him to be trying to look for nearby places to eat to get out of it sooner. He won't make it obvious though, especially since it was your idea and he doesn't want to hurt your feelings. Yamamoto, why is this bitch running? He really thinks he's zooming, but he hasn't moved an inch. Yamamoto's literally running in place, eyes locked straight ahead. You're not sure if you want to speed past him or sneak away because he's embracing the shit out of you. Elisa would be giggling mess the entire time. She would clench onto your arm for 1 second, then using you to boost off to speed on ahead. She's really having the time of her life and loves it when you two come up with something to do that you've never tried before. It's never a boring day in your relationship as you guys are always willing to try new things. Definitely one of your favorite experiences. Aobai Josei. Okawa, stop dancing. Please stop it. You're going to fall. And that's exactly what he does, but he'll play it off like he intended to before trying to bring you into his dance number. If you slip, he'll manage to catch you. And thank goodness he didn't fall on top of you. One moment, you tried to talk to him before you realized he was humming under his breath and completely turning you out. He had his AirPods in the entire time. Iwaizumi may try to spin you around like you two were dancing. He's smiling wide the entire time, always holding on to you. You two would be swinging arms the entire time, laughing harder than you ever have. One time he lets you go and you don't pay any mind to it. You thought he was trying to stare at your ass. Then you hear him skating full speed ahead, arms stretched out wide as he scoops you over his shoulder. He manages to hold you over his shoulder with one arm, and he skates in perfect form. The scariest part was him putting you down, but even then, neither of you two fell. Kunimi would be so concentrated on his form, eyes narrowed as he stared at his feet. You're all the way on the other side of the track, just watching him glaring at himself. It takes him 30 minutes to catch up with you. Why is he taking this so seriously? Kindaichi is not nervous at all, as unmovable as a rock. He's taking his time and not seeing what the fuss is. You clinch onto his arm the entire time, and while you're in a panic, he's just giddy and that you're feeling on his bicep. He's definitely his flexing the entire time. Stop flexing and help me. Oh, I'm sorry. Kiyotani, you give him an idea of how he would start out his form. When you were younger, you put your arms out to feel better, and he looks so stupid doing it. His mean mug locked straight ahead, his arms out, unmoving legs straightened as he just glides ahead. You can't even take him seriously, so you record him. You're racing so hard as he goes further and further into the unknown. He doesn't even begin to panic when there's a pond. Yes, he ended up falling into the water. Hanamaki didn't sleep the night before, so he's almost collapses 83 times within the duration. You're going all you can to keep him on his feet, but he's literally so heavy. Please stop doing this, Maki. One time he falls asleep standing up. Doesn't fall, but he's not conscious and you're tried of carrying him, so just leave him be. Matsukawa has his arms wrapped around you the entire time. You think it's cute, he's being all romantic and touchy, something he doesn't really do, but you're not protesting it. He just doesn't want to fall. May let out a very high-pitched scream if he feels he's the slightest bit unbalanced, and then just go on like nothing happened. Yahaba, he really thinks he's going 80 miles per hour, but he hasn't moved. You're watching him, expecting something badass to happen, but he's just a statue. You're not sure what's happening and constantly apologize to people that have veer around you guys. Watari. Watari is the most natural all of Seijoh boys. Sorry, I don't know how to say it. He's skated a few times when he's younger and super excited when you two get to go. It's a very cute date with a few stops for snacks. You guys start skating often and sometimes do it when you have to go to school. Exercise. Date tech. Futakuchi. Reads it here and won't stop bitching. You don't understand why he's in such a full mood, but he can't stop whining about how his skates are squeezing his toes too hard, or how it's so hot outside, or how the bugs keep biting him. Bro, just shut the fuck up. Aone, I think that's how you say it, I don't know. Has a good time, but you can hardly read him, so you figured he doesn't really care. You're in front of him for the most time, but he doesn't protest and you catch him grinning at you anytime you look over your shoulder. It melts your heart when it's after the date because you really thought he didn't like it. And it seems he posted a few pictures of you two holding hands with your back facing him and putting how he has a great time with you today. Konganegawa, so excited, loves to skate, it's a best idea ever. Sometimes you need to calm him down. It's not that big of a deal, but he's speeding all over the place, may have passed you 8 times already. You already know how this is going to end. By the time you make it back to the entrance, he's passed out sleeping on the bench. For Kurodani, Bokuto started out chill, but you were waiting for him to snap like always. Eventually, he's spinning in circles around you for no reason and poking at your ribs or any place where you might squeal out in surprise. Eventually, scoops you into his arms, and when you're freaking out, he'll put you right back down, begs you to let him give you a piggyback ride. He got this way, and while it was kind of dangerous, you two had fun. Akashi links his pinky with yours, maybe swings his arms a few times to show he's having fun, because he's well aware he has a very unreadable expression at times. May kiss you on the forehead every few minutes and rest his head against yours. Akashi loves to show affection throughout actions over words. This was definitely done on winter day, so you two get hot chocolate and relax at a nearby bookstore before huddling up and looking at very pretty lights. Konoha, pretty much just trying to get out of skating. He spends the entire first half of the day being nitpicky of what skates he wants, as if he would ever skate again. You knew this already, and then he insists he doesn't want to get them dirty. That's why he gets for destroying his pockets that badly on skates he would wear once. Washio, he doesn't really talk a lot because he feels anytime he does a physical activity, he should just focus on himself. So while you do get a little hurt by this, you understand that he's doing almost immediately. Washio senses his being an ass and tries to look over to you and smile, results in him running into a pole. He'll play it off and continue smiling warmly at you. Shiratorizawa, Ushijima. You want to see this man struggle so bad, but he doesn't. So he's so balanced, posture perfectly straightened, eyes straight forward. Why is he perfect at everything? It's bothering you. Eventually, he'll surprise you by bringing him close to him, restraining you from leaving his side. Will admit to you that he depends on you to make sure he doesn't fall. Poor baby was nervous the entire time, and you were just preying on his downfall. Tendo, why is he so energetic? On top of that, he is so tall, lanky, and flexible. He'll lean back for no reason. And his back is broken and just slide around, humming a creepy song to try to scare the children intentionally, may get yelled at by some parents. Semi skates frequently, so he wants to show off what he's better than you. But little does he know, you also skate. So it's just friendly competition. It's just you two showing off what you do while skating. Eventually, you two bump into each other and fall down, resulting in bruises all over your legs and arms. Goshiki. Goshiki was his arms crossed the entire time because he feels like this is best way to secure his safety while also achieving absolute dominance to anyone that crosses his path. But in reality, he looks stupid. You keep telling him to stop glaring at people for no reason before someone tries to fight him. Shirabu. Shirabu did everything he could to get out of this situation, but you won. He doesn't really complain, in fact. He tries to try new things. He makes this the best of the situation and documents as much as he can. He never posts on social media, but obviously it's special to him if he feels inclined enough to show off how much fun he's having with you. Narisaki. Atsumu slips once, and now he's pissed because he has this superiority complex. You haven't slipped at all. The other couples haven't slipped. How do you even know? You didn't even fall. You try to tell him as he's throwing a fit on a nearby bench, crossing his arms and chatting on how much of a loser he is. You get tired of his childlike behavior easily because he's being annoying. Let's be serious here. You'll leave him behind each time he does this, and he'll call you 5 minutes later, insisting he's finished. He's brooding and is ready to be a good boyfriend. Osamu. Osamu hasn't skated for a hot minute, but the issue with him is that he keeps gravitation over towards the food carts in the way. You have to keep trying to pull him away, which results in you skating across the pavement as he goes ahead and purchases more to eat. At least he gets you something too. I'm such a good boyfriend, he says for the 18th time that day. After buying you something on the final try, you slap it out of his hand and storm off. Please apologize. He worked for the money you just wasted. Kita. Kita will always stay behind you, but not make it obvious. He has the smallest yet softest smile on his face as you go ahead without him. The reason he's staying behind you is because he's not out of the question for you to lose your train of thoughts and slip for a second. He'll catch you with the tips of his fingers and prevent you from falling. But he doesn't like to come off as overbearing, so he does like to give you your space. Anytime you try to get him to race with you, he'll refuse to keep going in his leisurely pace. Suna wants to speed and show off his skating abilities, but he doesn't want you to feel left out, so he'll tell himself to take it easy until someone flies by you, a little too close for comfort, and kind of sets him off. He wants to assert his dominance without being confrontational, I don't know. So he'll speed down the slope and a little too close to the individual that was too close to you to make them uncomfortable with his staring. He's not really a date at this point. It's just a way of Suna to feel superior. Ojiro would be a goofball. He'll slip on his ass more than once and sometimes drag you down with him. Despite him not having the best balance, he'll keep trying to play around. His knees and legs are all scrapped up. You start to get concerned he'll bleed out. I'm just built different, don't worry. Stop him, please. Daisho. Daisho has a great balance and may try to spook you every now and then by pinching your sides. He loves it when you get mad at him for his teasing. It just adds to his fuel. One moment he has his arms across your shoulder. The next it's pinching at sensitive areas so he can try to get you to slip. He just wants to be able to catch you in his arms and be a savior. But he's miscalculated immensely, and it results in you falling on your ass. He understands that you don't want to talk with him for the rest of the date. Kuguri will try to hold on to the entire time. While he's not going to admit to not knowing what he's doing, his actions will make it pretty obvious that he's having a hard time. You'll ask if he's okay every time he's gripping on your arm very tighter. And eventually he stops answering because he knows you're well aware of his struggles. First time he sees a bench, he insists he has stretched, and you two end up there for the remaining of this date. Itachiyama. Sakusa would be going way faster than he can even comprehend. He would have his hands in his pockets, eyes narrowed intently as he pushes onward. You have to push yourself to keep up with him. Each time you tell him to slow down, he'll sigh in agitation, but in reality, he'll slow down slightly because he wants to be able to keep an eye on you. Sakusa always likes to be slightly ahead when you two walk, but he didn't realize he was going that much faster. May blame you for being too slow. Kamomedai. Hoshiyumi. This guy right there is not going to be stabilized for 1 second. His stance is going to be so wide to where he's almost falls right into a split every 20 seconds. Arms splayed outward like a bird. It's just overall a huge mess. You two will hardly cover any ground because he's stubborn and he wants to prove to you that he can do it alone. Will fall on his face more than once. Hirogami would have his hands in his pocket the entire time, going at a decent pace, and frequently look over at you to make sure you're having a good time. He would treat this date as any other date. You're just having a good time and trying to crack a joke here and there. Please hug onto his arms. That's the whole reason why he's left enough space for you to begin with. Hirugami is not someone that's going to end up flashy. He'll make this date as soon low as possible and more than likely choose a relative quiet area so you two could have some alone time. Jozenji, sorry if I said it wrong. Terashima would definitely be doing tricks that will have you worrying. He doesn't look completely balanced, and he tries to hold you to do something even more terrifying. He's a big risk taker and may see someone to do a trick. The thing is, this guy doesn't even regularly skate, so why is he so confident he will perfect it? This will continue the entire duration of the date. Somehow he doesn't fall down. Niyama. Kanoka has a very defined legs and uses skating as a workout. One day you ask to accompany her and she does what she can't to slow down, so it's more of a date and not her training to improve her strength. She actually finds it way more enjoyable than most of the times she skated. You two skate almost every night as a workout, plus date in one. Hi, hello again, hopefully you enjoyed it. Yeah, I do not own this fanfiction / scenarios, nor do I own the fan arts used in this video and for the thumbnail. Yeah, that's what it is called. Also, sorry for all the mispronouncements I made. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I kind of did. It did take a long time. So yeah, that's all. Goodbye, and thank you so much for 1K. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Also, sorry for not posting in a long time. And yeah, goodbye.